Hey y'all, well, here is the soup recipe that I promised y'all about a week and a half ago. We're about a week and a half late, and there's drama behind that, and I'll tell y'all all about that. But for those of you that are just here for the recipe and you don't want to hear the drama, then you can just skip past it when we get to that point. But I just want to tell you, this soup recipe is so easy and one pot, and it's so filling and wonderful. That's why I called it, and actually Karen gave this the soup's name. I was going to call it kitchen soup because it's got everything, you know, the old saying, everything but the kitchen sink in it. But Karen's like, I think it should be called like hearty chicken beef. So that's what we're going to go with. And I'm going to go over the stuff we're putting in the soup, and it looks like it's a lot of work, but it's really not, because half of it's canned and half of it's frozen. Well, part of it's frozen. And don't worry, because I always put the ingredients and the macros and everything in the description below the video. So I'm just going to go over everything real quick, and then we're going to get started cooking. So I've got two 32-ounce cartons of chicken broth here. I've got about 12 ounces of cooked ground beef. I've got half of a rotisserie chicken that's been cut up, dark and white meat in here. We've got 3 chicken bouillon cubes, some chicken bouillon powder. I've got 3 celery stalks, and I use celery hearts, and so there's 3 of those in here. If you use the regular long ones, probably 2 would be enough. I've got half of a sweet onion cut up. Got 1 can of stewed diced tomatoes. I've got 2 small 4-ounce cans of the portobello mushrooms that are chopped up, but you can use 8 ounces of whatever kind of mushroom you like. I've got a can of green beans here. I've got, this is riced cauliflower, and I'm using frozen riced cauliflower today, but you could totally, any of these vegetables that are canned, you could totally do them fresh and be fine. I've got a can of the black soybeans here, and not black beans, black soybeans. Make sure y'all get that, because the black beans, you know, are loaded with carbs. I've got a half of a yellow bell pepper and half of a red bell pepper, and I've got 14 radishes that I've cut up and quartered. And we're going to use this as sort of like a potato substitute. And then I'm going to be using salt, pepper, and garlic, onion powder, and I've got some complete seasoning that I'm going to put in mine. But whatever spices that you like for your soup, you can use them in this recipe, and it's going to be delicious. So I'm going to move this stuff over to the stove. We're going to get started, and I'll show you how we're going to make this soup so it tastes like you've been cooking it all day, but it doesn't take maybe 20-30 minutes. So we'll be right back. Okay, y'all, so I've got my soup pan here, and I'm going to, I've already put the broth in here, and I'm going to add the can of diced tomatoes with the juice from the tomatoes into my pan here. And then I'm going to add the 3 bouillon cubes, and then the 2 teaspoons of bouillon powder to this. And I'm going to also add our radishes in right away, because we want the radishes to cook as long as they can so they can get soft. And you know, we've talked about this before, there's nothing really that you can put into a recipe that is going to taste exactly like a potato. But you can put things in there that give you sort of that potato feel. And that's what we're going for with the radishes here. And I'm going to stir this up just a little bit. Get some of that. We'll put the radishes in. Ooh, I made a little splash. Alright, and so I'm going to add salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and I'm probably going to have to come back and add a little bit more spice to this, but I always like to get things started, and if I need to add more later, then I add more later. But we got to have spice in our food, and any of the spices I'm using, like I said, if you don't like a certain spice I'm using, like, I know a lot of people don't like garlic, some people don't like onion. Just put what makes you happy in your soup, and it's going to be great. And then this is the Badia Complete Seasoning. I don't know if you guys have ever used this before. I found it, I think last year I discovered this spice mix, and I really like it. It works well with soup, it works well with a lot of different meats. It's even good on fish if you add like dill and stuff with it. So I use that a good bit, actually. All right, so I've got the soup base going here, and I've got it on almost on high because I want it to boil and, like I said, get those radishes going. And then another secret to this recipe is I'm going to pan saute the onions, the celery, and the bell pepper. When I was growing up, they used to teach us that these three veggies together are called the trifecta of cooking. And it does really add a nice flavor to whatever you're making. And it's a nice flavor combo. So I'm putting about a tablespoon, I think it's about a tablespoon. I didn't look at the wrapper, but I think I'm pretty close. And about a tablespoon of oil in the pan, and we're going to saute these veggies up and get them seasoned up, because you know how I am, season layers, and it makes food taste better. So we're going to get these veggies in here and get them going. And they're going to simmer and saute, I don't know, probably 10 or 15 minutes. I saute them until they get soft, but not completely cooked through, because I'm going to be putting them in the soup. So we're going to give them about 10 or 15 minutes. I'm going to stir as we go along. And I got to get my bowls collected. So we're going to season up the veggies, same seasoning I'm putting in the soup. And that's why I say when I'm cooking soup, I always just season the layers, and then at the end, if I need to add more, I do. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And it also depends on what kind of soup you're making too. So, but this is a flavor combo that I like, and Karen and Jeannie are coming over here in a little while. Y'all don't know this, but I'm making this soup at a little after 9 in the morning. I got everything ready to go last night. I was going to make the video last night, and went to make the video, and battery was dead on the camera, and it takes a little over an hour. So I was like, I'm going to go to bed, and I'll get up early in the morning and do it. So that's what we're doing today. So we got this going, and we're just going to let all this stuff cook, and I'm going to get some dishes done up, and then I'll be back and we'll finish this up. Okay, y'all, so I've got the soups going, and the stuff's been cooking for about 15 minutes now, and my radishes are still a little hard, so we're going to simmer the soup for a little while to make sure that they get done. But I'm going to add all my other stuff into the soup base now, except for the frozen cauliflower, and I add that last because it's already frozen, and when it thaws out, it's super soft. And so I don't want it to be so soft that it's kind of too mushy. So I'm adding the chicken. I just put the beef in. I'm going to do the black soybeans. And y'all, this makes a lot of soup. And if you're like me and you're single and you make a big pot like this, you can put it all in the freezer and have food prep ready. And it's great on nights when you're busy or you're tired. And also on those nights where your brain is just like, I don't know what I want for dinner. So the mushrooms go in here. Oh, that's looking so nice, y'all. All right, and then we're going to go in with our veggies. Look how pretty those look, you guys. So, like I said, the onions and everything are just barely translucent. So they're going to finish cooking in the soup. And before you know it, we're going to be eating good soup. Jenny's going to be here in about, let's see, Jenny's going to be here in about 15 minutes. And that's just about the right amount of time for this to continue cooking. And then Karen will be here about 10. So they are having soup for breakfast. They know it. So, and we're kind of a weird bunch. We sometimes eat salad and soup for breakfast. So it's just what we do. But anyway, I'm going to cover this soup up, let it cook. I've got it on low. I'm going to turn it up just a little bit. And like I said, I'm going to let it cook for about 15, 20 more minutes, and then it'll all be done and we'll be eating soup. So now, off to the drama. Okay, y'all, drama time. So the last time that I talked to you, I think I told y'all that my dishwasher had gone out. So the guy came over here to fix the dishwasher, and we had a power surge, and it caught the power box inside the dishwasher on fire. But luckily, those things are sealed, so if the fire ever gets out of the wires, it puts it out because it can't get oxygen and stuff. Thank you, Jesus. And so I had called Bosch because I'm still under warranty. And so they sent a guy out here, and he did all the repairs and everything, and he couldn't get any power to the dishwasher. And so that was weird because the day before he came out, I had electricians out here because we had the power surges and it burned up the dishwasher. So they took the cover off the breaker box and everything out there, and they were looking at it, and they said everything looks fine, because the power company had come out here too, because I had called them and said what is going on, because I had like 3 or 4 different power surges. And so they sent the power guy out here. He turned the power off at the box, and they checked the lines from my house to the street and then up and down my street, and he said it's fine, it's not us, it's you. So I was like, okay. And the guy that was here said it sounded to him like the main breaker in the house was going bad. So I had called the electricians, and they came out and they said, no, your main breaker's fine, the box looks fine, everything's fine. And they asked me if I'd had any other problems, and I was like, no, nothing. So they went on their merry little way, and then I noticed that I had a stain over my refrigerator on the roof in the kitchen. And I'm like, what is going on? I thought it was the pan from the new heating unit I had to have put in last year, because it leaked one time when they first installed it. It had fluid gathering in the pan, and it leaked over in the pan. So I called them out, and this was all like boom, 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 one thing after another. So I called them out, and they said, it's not your pan leaking, but I see water coming down this piece of wood in your roof. I think you got a leak in your roof. And so I was like, because I don't know about y'all, but it seems like when you're in the house and you're doing stuff, sometimes it's just like one thing right after another, and you sail along, everything's fine, then boom. So I called them out, and they told me they thought the roof was leaking. So then I called the roofing company, and I'm so blessed. I'm truly blessed that I have got people in my life that are good, Christian, honest providers of services. So they came out, and they looked, and he took pictures upstairs, and he said, Miss Jacqueline, he said, you don't have a leak coming from your roof. The pipe coming off of your heating unit going up to the roof is loose, and you've got like an inch gap where the water's coming in around that pipe, dripping down that pipe and hitting the wood, and then that's what's hitting the ceiling in the kitchen. And I said, okay, thank you so much. So then I had to call the heat and air people back, and they sent a guy out, and he apologized profusely. He said, I don't know how I missed that, I'm so sorry. And they took care of it that afternoon. He didn't have the part that he needed to fit up there to fix it, so he fixed it with styrofoam and another part, because we were supposed to have rain that evening, to keep it from leaking anymore. And then he came out the next day and fixed the thing going up through the roof and put the cap on that. And I guess that they take pictures and send them to their managers and stuff when they do a job. Because the next day I got a call that they needed to come out again, because they noticed that there was a crack in the elbow of the pipe that he had just fixed. And that is a carbon monoxide issue. So he came back out. Well, when he came back out, the dishwashing guy came back out, and he's like, okay, I've got the part and I can fix it. And he got all the new parts put in, and because the door wasn't opening to the dishwasher either, so he had to get a strip for that part. So he came back, had all the parts, got it together, and then nothing, still nothing on the dishwasher. So he's like, I'm not getting any power here. He said, you might need to call the electricians back out, have them look not only at the breaker box, but check the wiring behind the dishwasher. And I was very concerned that it was the wiring behind the dishwasher because it had been such a powerful surge, and they had just been out to check the breaker box. So call the electric company, and they come back out, and sure enough, it was the breaker in the box that went to the dishwasher. And I don't know whether they missed it or whether we had another surge, but in any event, they fixed that. They checked the wiring behind the dishwasher just to be sure that it wasn't a problem back there, and it's not, thank you God. And so they put a whole house surge protector on my breaker box. And so the power company told me that it wasn't them, but I have found out recently it is them. So I'm grateful that it's not a problem with the wiring in the house, and I'm grateful that they were able to fix everything, and I'm grateful that we're back on track. So that's the drama that's been going on around here for the last week and a half. But we are back on track now, and like I said, the video, I'm getting ready to finish up the soup. Jenny and Kara will be here soon, and hopefully they'll be in the mood for me to either put them on film or take a picture of them while we're eating the soup. But that is the drama, guys. So I appreciate y'all being patient, and I hope y'all enjoy the soup as much as we do. Miss Macy's waiting. I'm gonna have to figure something out to give her because she can't have anything with onions in it. So I'll have to make her own little special soup out of something. But anyway, I love you guys, and I appreciate it, and that's the drama chapter. So back to this recipe. Okay, y'all, so it's time for the cauliflower to go in, and then we're gonna just let the hot cauliflower heat through, and that'll take about 5 minutes or so, and then we will be eating. And Miss Jenny has arrived on the scene. Karen texted me, and she's not coming today because she's got a relative that's gone in the hospital, so she's in Birmingham right now. So we won't be seeing Miss Karen today, but we'll be praying for her and her family. And look, y'all, just look how pretty that soup is. Ooh, it's so good. I'm telling y'all, you're gonna love it. Okay, y'all, so tell you what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check the broth here in the soup and see if I need to add anything else to it. That actually tastes pretty good. Usually I have to put a little bit of extra salt in there. It's good. So just a few more minutes, and then we'll be doing a taste test for y'all. Okay, y'all, so the soup is ready. Miss Jenny has arrived, and we are going to do a taste test for y'all. And Macy's getting cheese instead of soup, so we're going to give her a little piece of cheese. Yes, we're going to give you a little piece of cheese. There you go. So here goes the taste test, y'all. Jenny will tell you the truth, too.
I will.
It looks pretty. Mmm. Oh, good.
Yeah, that's really good.
I like it too. Guys, this recipe, it makes 9 2-cup servings. So I'll have all the macros and everything down below for you. I wasn't sure exactly how many cups it was going to make. I usually have the macros and everything figured out before I make the recipe. I knew it was going to be really low carb, but I didn't know it was going to make that many servings, which is a good thing. So we are going to finish up our soup breakfast, and we got to get downstairs and start on the stocking project. Oh, I forgot I told them I'll show them. So we'll do some filming or taking pictures of the stockings that we're working on and the stocking table, because I promised y'all I'd let y'all see this video. So when we get through eating breakfast here and we get started with the stockings, we'll do that for you. And we love you and appreciate you. You know we love you. You know we love you. And we really do appreciate all your love and support. So we will see y'all soon. I hope you enjoy the soup. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye, guys.